In our body, each and every cell is alive biologically, and it throbs with a hidden code message. All code messages are embedded in the pure chit, that is, the pure consciousness. The pure consciousness is the matrix on which the life, right from a cell to the grandest star, that arise in this cosmos, that thrives in the cosmos. When a seed interacts with all the five elements within it, it is living biologically. The biological part is the grosser part, the denser part, the physical part. And for all biological physical activities, aliveness, there exists this hidden intelligence, intelligence which has no form, and therefore it cannot have a name also. All we can say is only repeatedly intelligence, intelligence, pure consciousness or is-ness. We can see not only in this world, within ourselves too, a thought which is not visible, a thought made into a sentence that we speak in our mind, is not visible physically. What perceives a thought in us? What is that faculty that, along with the arisal of the thought, coexists along with the thought and inherently, intrinsically has the feel, has the essence, contains the value of the passing thought? Does it not exist as the matrix of all the invisible, the intangible, the uncreated, the unmanifested? Yet its existence can only be felt by an individual. All the saints, the great seers, jnanis, like Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, have all been only existed, lived in that ultimate state. Their existence, their very living was in that. If we somehow start seeking that From where does it arise? The source, the beingness, and there is no end point to it. It doesn't end, and it has no a source point, a beginning point, a place of origination. From where does a thought arise? Does it not arise from that pure intelligence? Whatever we think, whatever we feel, a nanosecond before its pop up, what was that state? Was it not complete, full, perfect is-ness, is-ness? Was it not full of intelligence from these random thoughts pop up, exist with a separate physical body, identifying itself with a physical body, and a sentence made out of it as I think, as I want, as I do, exist and disappear in that? Do not all the activities, be it a seed of a plant or a passing thought in a human being, a feeling in a human being, have they not all have their essence only from that true pure intelligence and that is-ness? All virtues and all auspiciousness follow a heart which seeks the one true intelligence and that is-ness, which is before this popping up of a separate thought, popping up of a separate thought. This is the essence of all the teachings. Where else, where else we can search for? We will have to look at the place where my own thought arises. For that, the passing thought should not become dominant in me. The whole of the waking state is shrouded by a separate physical and psychological thinking existence. This dominance of a separate physical psychological existence should give a gap or should stand aside as a secondary thing. Then only can an individual will have to look at that pure intelligence minutely without any noise of the passing thought or a feeling or the waking state affairs hindrance, the hindrance of the waking state affairs. In Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi's verse also, the very first verse in Ulladu Narpadu, what is in 40 verses? The original verse in Tamil goes like this. உள்ளது அல்லது உள்ள உணர்வு உள்ளதோ உள்ள பொருள் உள்ளலற உள்ளத்தே உள்ளதால் உள்ளமெனும் உள்ள பொருள் உள்ளலெவன் உள்ளத்தே உள்ளபடி உள்ளதே உள்ளல் உணர். He talks about the is-ness. How can an individual describe or explain about that is-ness, or how the thoughts of an individual can describe about the is-ness out of which all thoughts of him arise and explain about that source. Just be, just stay put, observe keenly, observe minutely the place where your thought has arisen, where your thought has coined itself and started floating within you, with your body as its abode of origination, and you as a separate thinker. Is it not the pure consciousness, the intelligence? In Zen, there is a cone. If you dip a 100-meter chain from a boat or a ship, will it hit the bottom? That is the sea bottom or the lake or wherever. Will it anchor? Will it ever hit the bottom? If a 100-meter chain, an anchor, is sent to the seabed, will it hit it? What is the meaning of this cone? They are like riddles. Definitely, an anchor of 100-meter will hit at some place where the seabed is touched at a 100-meter height. This is what is the meaning of it. Our thoughts are like the floating, drifting vessels on the surface of the water. Our feelings, our emotions, our moment-to-moment identifications, and identifications are the platforms on which springs all the feelings and thoughts. And what is that identification? Basically, the identification is the physical body. One identifies, one takes oneself to be that physical place, that physical body. That is the root ignorance, what they call in Vedanta, root ignorance. It is just like an established thing that I am nothing but my basically the physical body. This very premise, this very illusory premise, the illusory pop-up without any investigation gives rise to all kinds of waking state furious activities. That's why all the virtues or the auspiciousness follow one who treads the path of this true intelligence, who has taken apart this holy journey of inward journey of looking at where from the thoughts arise. What is that is-ness? Is-ness is simply is-ness, that's all. Ramana Maharshi asked that question, who has a separate mind? How can one have a separate thinking machinery called mind? Is not the mind spring up from that is-ness, and how and what one should do to be that is-ness except be as it is, just be as it is. When one watches within oneself, during meditation or during investigation, to the exclusion of all thinking process, from where does a feeling arise? From where does a thought arise? The seeker of that also, along with the thoughts, dissolve immediately. He questions, is there anything else at all with separate identifications as thoughts and feelings except that isness? உள்ளது அல்லது உள்ள உணர்வு உள்ளதோ? Is not only that isness alone is. How can there be the identifications as I am, me, for me, mine, and all these various things originate from that? Does not isness throb with intelligence also, invisible, intangible, without a separate name and form? Does not intelligence throb in it? Except this, what else is there? Is there a mind an individual holds separately? This is the way an individual should look within oneself. This is what is the meditation that is going to be also in this session. Because only isness. Isness need not be defined by my thoughts, or for that matter anybody's thoughts. Let one dwell there as it dwells, without the other, without a second, without a secondary thing. Let one dwell there. And how to approach that? Intrinsically know that you, as a thought produced individual, do not exist. In the first place, neither you exist nor I, the speaker, do not exist. It exists naturally of its own, on its own. Neither I can reject it nor I can cling to it. This is the fact of it. This is pure intelligence. This is pure is-ness. And the next 36 minutes, the meditation is going to be, you will be hearing a bell sound, and also as a second reference point, you will have to constantly watch each and every in breath and the outgoing breath. And especially only watching, you are not doing it as an exercise. It is not a breathing exercise that you are going to do. You are going to simply watch the breath going in and the breath coming out. You will have the feel on the edge of your lip, upper lip, or in the septum region of your nose, or in the center point between two eyebrows, or somewhere in the throat, or in the chest, or in the stomach. Somewhere you will have the grosser feeling of the breath going in and coming out. This is only a reference point. We are not going to achieve a better health state or some motive for doing this meditation or looking at the breath going in and coming out. This is only a reference point. When things are happening in the subtle domain, invisible domain called mind, and that is what we are during our waking state, and that is what we are during our dreaming state, and its absence is our deep sleep. When this is going to be the fact of a human being's existence, that is either with mind or without mind, throughout millennia, he comes and goes. Where else our practice of meditation or investigation will start? This is the place, this is the abode. Just observe the feeling of the breath going in, somewhere touching, feeling within your body. And if you miss this, the second reference point will be throughout the meditation, the bell sound will be going on at predetermined intervals. That will make you to turn within. So in either of these two points will make you be available fully within you. And that fullness that envelops, that grows in you has to be deployed looking, if at all any thought arises in you, looking at that who or from where and what is that place from which the thought has arisen. That means who the thinker is in you. What was that moment before the arisal of the thought? What was that silence? Was it not natural? Was it produced by you? Was it created? Was it in any manner designed by you? Not at all. This is the fact. This is the fact. Consciousness, pure intelligence, is-ness, the true self are all synonymous words, and it doesn't depend upon my thinking. My thinking has not produced it. My thinking is only an effect which is coming out of the hidden causes that are embedded in that pure intelligence. Let me realize that I am not the hidden causes, nor the effect, the thinking, the thought process also. I am that. And this realization is not a word, not a sentence which you are coining during meditation or during investigation. It's a pure seeing. It's a moment to moment seeing. It is a gapless, without any break, a constant seeing. This is the realization. And this is going to be the meditation for the next 36 to 40 minutes. And for a being, for the true heart, which seeks the true intelligence, the true consciousness, the is-ness. For it, all the virtues follow, all the auspiciousness take place for that being. This is going to be the meditation. This is a very powerful meditation. And at the end, I will ask you to open your eyes. Start the meditation. Keep the eyes closed. Do not open them abruptly. If one sits for meditation, be it any meditation, mind after some time watching the breath, there is no question of one doing a right meditation or a wrong meditation. When one intentionally has entered meditation, the mind calms down, it becomes quiet. And we, on our part, should not voluntarily agitate it. We should not meddle with it. The silence that has born out of a constant watchfulness is very rich in nature. Our natural state is only this is-ness. It is not that we create it. It is not only our natural state. The whole of existence, whatever you mean by that word existence, physical, psychological, because ultimately for a human being everything is psychological. Only mind does everything here. Right from a cell to a five-sensed animal, an animal with five senses, they do not have a separate center. They are simply reactionary. They are simply conditioned by their physical body and five senses. That is what their existence is. They do not investigate like we do. A human being's thought, what it does, it can investigate upon its own origination. That is the highest thing that can happen to a human thought. That is what we have been doing. An individual who is sitting for a meditation, eyes closed, and dwelling upon his own true self, seeking his own true self, looking for something true within him. What does it mean? He is looking for the truth within himself. In fact, that is the right place to look for, to seek for the truth. Truth doesn't lie elsewhere. Our own being, all the beings, right from a cell, reactionarily for the hidden causes, they come and go. They originate, they exist, and they disappear. The very birth is a disease. That is what all the scriptures, all the saints have proclaimed. And the truth is also that the very birth is a disease. And not only birth, then aging, then physical diseases and death. All this cyclically in revolutions. It happens for a cell and for a human being and for everything in the manifested cosmos. The whole of manifestation is bound by these four aspects of existence. that is birth, aging, disease, and decay, destroyal, or death. This is the constant thing. How an individual as a human being can invest his time, the most precious thing that can happen to a human being is only when he investigates, when he sits for his meditation. The highest noble, the highest good, he is seeking his own true intelligence, the place where the is-ness dwells in him. This is what the highest good one can do for the whole of the humanity that existed, that is, and that is going to be. That is what the highest good one can do for oneself as well as for the whole of the humanity. In the path of seeking one's true intelligence, what happens? For that, for that individual, for that entity which does this, all the virtues, all the goodness, all the auspiciousness follow him like how a shadow follows a physical object or a human being. The same way, all the virtues will happen to him. This is the crux of the meditation which you have done. Now, do not again judge the effect of it or the result of it. What have you achieved out of this doing this meditation? Nothing of this sort. Just leave it at that. Because every moment, each moment passes unconscious of the prior moment or the succeeding moment. This is what existence is. It doesn't have any mark, it doesn't leave a sign or a symbol anywhere as a mark. It's complete movement. In movement, there is no name or no form. So don't judge yourself from the standpoint of a doer, a meditator who has done a meditation. Just leave it at that. We will meet in our next meditation and satsang session.